Good morning, and welcome to another morning fast break. I want you to be blessed. I want God to say something to you that's going to help you. And with that in mind, let's jump right into this. I don't want to take a lot of time. This is important to me as well. I talked about, preachers and ministers learning how to handle failure. You also have to learn how to handle success. Luke 10, verse 17 through 19 says, "And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through thy name. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Notwithstanding, in this rejoice not that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven." You've got to learn how to handle success. This is as important as knowing how to bounce back from failure, because the highs and lows of ministry are dangerous on either end. And you, as the minister, the one responsible for what God has given to be placed into the earth, you are someone who's going to have to handle both the word, the work, and the response from your own self in both cases. It can be dangerous, it can be hard, it can be tough. And at the same time, it can be jubilant, it can be happy, it can be amazing. But you got to know how to handle success as well as bounce back from failure. Now, Jesus has given power to the disciples, and they come back to him and they give this fabulous report, and they say, Jesus, we were out doing what you gave us to do, and we found out that even the devils were subject unto us by your name. And I'm imagining Jesus listening to them, because he does not interrupt them. He lets them finish what they're saying and their testimony. And you can't get mad at them because they recognize their power over the enemy. You can't get mad at them because they understand that it's the name of Jesus that the demons are subject to them. So they are operating correctly. They are seeing things correctly. But sometimes in the moment, you have to be careful that you don't build up even a little bit yourself, your flesh. You don't want to go through a process of self-aggrandizement. Look how I handled them. Look how I handled the house. I did this, I said that, and then when I rocked back one time and I hollered, I dumped them. And you get caught up in this preacher jargon and the performance aspects of ministry. And before you know it, you run into the worst thing that every preacher can run into, and that is you learn how to do it. You learn how to invoke responses. You learn how to bring about certain things in the people. Notice I did not use the word, and I will not use the word manipulate. But we do know how to bring crowd control and different things like that and make certain things happen. And the thing about it is, God can move. But it's because God is moving. The best thing you are is a vessel and an atmosphere conductor. But God is the one that is ultimately doing the work. That's why you got to be careful, my friends. You got to be careful, preachers. Be careful not to make yourself think that you are some great wonder. And I'm not saying you're not awesome. Man, you might be dynamic. But understand that it's not you. And Jesus turns around and he says this to them. He says, listen, I've given you access to this power. And I've given you access to power that you haven't even used yet. I've given you access to power that you have no idea how much access to power you really have. And the problem they don't get is that Jesus is actually prophesying to them. He's saying to them, I gave you power because you're going to encounter some serpents. You're going to encounter some scorpions. You're going to encounter the enemy. And you need to know that I've given you power over all of that. Because when you encounter them, there will be a moment when doubt creeps into your mind. Today you are walking on cloud 9. Today you are in the 7th heaven. Today you are on top of the world. But brother, the time is coming when it's going to look like the walls are closing in on you. And all that confidence you have right now is going to be out the window. That's why you got to learn how to handle success. And the best way to handle success is perspective. Jesus offers perspective with one word. He says, notwithstanding. In other words, I get it. Yeah, you guys did this thing, man. It was great, and you're happy about it. Notwithstanding, even though you did that, don't rejoice about that, but rejoice that your name is written in heaven. Rejoice that you are counted as one of mine. Because in a little while, Jesus is going to tell them that in the last day, there'll be many that come to me and say, I cast out devils in your name. I fed the hungry in your name. I healed the sick in your name. And he says, depart from me, you worker of iniquity. I do not know you. So the question is not how dynamic you are, how impressive you are. The fact that you can hoop in 4 or 5 keys. I'm impressed by that. I love that. I love to hear good preaching. I love to hear a brother who has, or a sister who has the dynamic range to do these different things with their voices and escalate me. You can't tell me too many things on the intellectual side that's going to impress me. I've been in my brain a whole lot, but just the simple passion that comes from preaching oftentimes is what I enjoy. But what I want to say to you is this: none of those things matter if your name is not written in heaven. Don't rejoice because you're effective. Don't rejoice because you're great. Don't rejoice because someone told you you're awesome. Put it in perspective. You really ain't that awesome. You ain't that good. One time someone was talking about, how this one can preach and how that one can preach. And they're this, that, and third. And they're having a conversation around me. And I guess they were trying to elicit some type of response. And I really didn't want to be involved in it per se. But since they wanted to elicit a response, I said to myself, I have no idea if I can or cannot preach. I don't know. I don't know what I can do. But I know that if I get out of the way, when God takes over, amazing things happen. And that was the beginning of perspective for me. Perspective is a beautiful thing. Learn to deal with success. Learn to deal with success. Be blessed, preachers. Be blessed, ministers of the gospel. Be blessed, all of you saints of God. No fear. I'll see you again next week. Peace.